Okay. Hi, good morning, everyone. This is Team Investments, and this is our summary for this week's topic, which is all about financial markets. So, first, let us define a financial market. This refers to any marketplace where trading of securities between buyers and sellers occur. Next slide. Businesses, individuals, and government often need to raise capital to meet financial needs. For businesses, expansion of operations. For individuals, they might need money to buy a new house or car. The government also need for public projects. So the question is, where will they obtain this money? Next part. On the other hand, some individuals, firms, and organizations have income that exceed their current expenditures or surplus funds. Another question would be, what can they do with this? So let me call Ms. Lauron to continue.
Okay, thank you, Thea. So, in a well-functioning economy, capital flows efficiently from those with surplus to those who need it. Some individuals, businesses, and governmental bodies that have surplus funds may want to save for future consumption. These savers would like to earn a return on their investment, and the borrowers of capital would be willing to pay interest for the savers or providers of capital. This transfer can take place in three ways. We have here the process of capital formation for business. First is direct transfers where this occurs when business sells its securities directly to the savers. Take note, directly, no financial institution involved here. Second is the indirect transfer through investment banks that underwrites the issue. To simply state, from savers or like corporation to underwriter as facilitators to savers selling the same securities. Third is transfers through a financial intermediary, which the financial intermediary issues its own securities and invest the proceeds in different other securities. So next is Demicilio.
So let's talk about why are efficient financial market necessary for economic growth. So a healthy economy is dependent on efficient funds transfers from people who are net savers to firms and individuals who need capital. Without efficient transfer, the economy cannot function, such as having no electricity or raising capital. So the financial market really helps because it efficiently directs the flow of savings and investment in the economy in the ways that facilitate the accumulation of capital and production of goods and services. Next.
All right. So one great part of this topic or our summary is to discuss the types of financial markets. But before that, earlier one of our teammates has mentioned the definition of financial markets, and I would like to reiterate that financial market refers broadly to any marketplace where the trading of securities occurs. So this includes stock market, bond market, forex market, and derivatives market. So let's discuss here what are the different types of financial markets. So first one are the over-the-counter markets. So they are basically a decentralized market because they don't have physical location and all of their processes are conducted electronically, and in which market participants trade securities directly between two parties without a broker. And next one is a bond market, which will be further discussed later on. But giving the definition of bond market, so basically they trade bonds, or it's a market where people or participants in the market trade bonds, which is a security in which an investor loans money for a defined period at a pre-established market interest rate. Next one will be
So,
discussed by Ace.
so good morning. Money market. So what is money market? The money market involves the purchase and sale of large volumes of very short-term debt products, such as overnight reserves or commercial paper. So money market investments are characterized by safety and liquidity. So how about derivatives market? Rather than trading stocks directly, a derivatives market trades in futures and options contracts and other advanced financial products that derive their value from underlying instruments like bonds, commodities, currencies, etc. So how about forex market or foreign exchange market? It is the market in which participants can buy, sell, exchange, and speculate on currencies. As such, the forex market is the most liquid market in the world. The market is also decentralized. So Thea?
So we have here physical asset markets versus financial asset markets. Physical asset markets deals with products that has physical substance like size, shape, and color, while financial asset markets deals basically with financial assets, of course, like cash, stocks, bonds, notes, and mortgages. Next would be the spot market versus futures market. So the spot market is where assets are bought and sold for on the spot delivery or immediate delivery. While futures markets, participants here agree today to buy and sell and deliver an asset at some future date while having the price set today. Next, let me call Mr. Ace.
So what's the difference between money markets versus capital markets? So the money market is a short-term lending system where lenders use it to put spare cash to work, while the capital market is geared toward long-term investing where investors buy them to share in that growth. So the money market is less risky while the capital market is potentially more rewarding. Next is primary versus secondary market. So um, primary market is where securities are created. IPO is an example of primary market, so while the secondary market is commonly referred to as the stock market. So proceed to bond market versus stock market. A stock market is where investors go to trade equity securities issued by corporations, while the bond market is where investors go to buy and sell debt securities issued by corporations or governments. Stocks typically trade on various exchanges while bonds are mainly sold over the counter. So please next.
So our topic is also about financial institutions. These institutions are engaged in the business of dealing with financial and monetary transactions, such as deposits, loans, investments, and currency exchanges. It is also known as banking institution that serves as intermediary between borrowers and savers. We have numerous types of financial institutions, and we picked three banking institutions that were commonly used by many. So first is investment banks. IBs traditionally help companies raise new capital through providing consulting services to corporations to design securities that are attractive to investors. They then buy those securities and resell them to investors. Second is commercial banks. They accept deposits in a form of checking accounts, savings accounts, and other forms of deposits and lend to different types of borrowers that are engaged in finance-related activities also. Next is credit unions. The surplus funds accumulated from members' savings are loaned only to the members. Always remember that the role of the financial institution depends on the type of financial institution. So next is Dimisilio.
So, so we have here pension funds, insurance company, and mutual funds. So let's talk first the pension funds. So our investment pools that pay for workers' retirements and funds are paid for by either employees, or both. So the primary objective of pension funds is to provide pensioners who reach the retirement age with income in the form of a lifetime pension or a capital. So next is the insurance company, a company which may be for profit, non-profit, or the government owned. So for example is if one purchases a health insurance, the insurance company will pay for the client's medical bills if any. And lastly, the mutual funds are investment vehicles in which money is pooled from a large number of investors and spread over instruments like stocks and bonds. So it is operated by a professional money managers who allocate the fund's asset and attempt to produce capital gains or income for the fund's investors. And it is a type of investment vehicle consisting of portfolio or stock, bonds, or other securities. That's all.
All right. So the next type of financial institution would be the central bank, which are the banks that regulate the processes and activities of the other banks. So they are also in charge of the oversight and management of all other banks. So example of this is the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. Next is the internet banks, which is commonly the same and practically the same with the usual banks. However, they are done through online platforms. Next is brokerage firms, which are companies that assist individuals and institutions in buying and selling securities among available investors. Next would be mortgage companies, which are originators of mortgage and loans for commercial purposes. So examples of the internet banks would be CIMB Bank, brokerage firms would be COL, financials, and uh, mortgage companies are also very important for individuals and company. So that would be all for our short uh, and comprehensive recap about this week's topic. Thank you very much, and that would be all.
All right, thank you. So um, in your presentation, you also the other groups mentioned it also, but um, we have the forex market, no, and yeah, I think you will probably notice, even if you don't specifically, even if you weren't specifically fed with this information, I think you will also really notice that the US dollar is a very popular currency all around the world. And that makes sense because the US is really a very large economy, and it impacts much of the world as well. Now, my question is, I'd like to ask for your opinion on something. With China, no, being the rising superstar in the global economy, do you think there's a chance that the yuan would become as popular as the dollar, the Chinese yuan? Yes, Mr. Lasay.
Can I answer that,
Yeah.
ma'am?
Hi. Okay.
Okay.
I don't think, ma'am, that China can establish such popularity as the dollar, ma'am, because as we know, US is a superpower in economy in terms of military also, and I don't think that other countries would subscribe to yuan as much as they like to subscribe with US. US has this diplomatic relationship with other countries. That's why dollar is so popular. And I don't think China would become that open because they are secretive and they are very shady in their economic businesses, ma'am. And they are also like to make debt traps in African countries very recently. And I don't think that's a good thing as a investor if you know that currency is related to such thing, ma'am.
Okay. In relation to what you've said, you mentioned that China tends to be shady. Do you think that stems from their they subscribe to communism and atheism? Do you think that is very connected to that, or what do you think?
Yes, ma'am. I think the Chinese Communist Party is a very close organization. They are close-minded, and what happened recently to Jack Ma was a very good
Yes.
example.
Mm.
They tend to silence Jack Ma because of his movements and making connections with the US, and they are not happy with that. Now the CCP is very traditional Chinese mindset, and they are not open with the Alipay of Jack
Yeah.
Ma.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that they are that willing to be open to the world, ma'am.
Mm-hmm. And that's one of the reasons why, that's probably the major reason why Jack Ma was not seen in public for a few months, no? He only surfaced in the media, when was that? Last month. So he was not in the public eye for a few months because of something, allegedly, because of something that he said, no, about the traditional Chinese banks, stuff like that. Okay, anyway, yes, Jandale.
Yes, ma'am. So, contrary to what Mr. Lassa has mentioned, no, we all know that there are really a lot of constraints on the economy of China and all on how they work things or how they do things. But according to research and more probably based on existing results, we actually have I have actually experienced a partnership with Gcash, and they are actually owned a, with a big percentage. They're owned big part kanang dakong percentage is owned by Alipay, or which is currently under uh, a foreign company now. So it's actually they have always informed their customers, their potential partners, and their market that Alipay is usually widely used in China, and that that's what the impact they're trying to replicate here in the Philippines. So that's one thing that um, they're also that's one thing they're also strong in when it comes to financial markets. And however, that just like what Lasa and you have mentioned earlier, ma'am, they are also facing a lot of constraints. However, if we are talking about popularizing or internationalizing yuan, which is their currency, I believe that there is also a chance for them to be popular. However, it would really take a lot of years and it would take a lot of barriers to overcome. And it might or might not be able to surpass the popularity of the US dollar. However, it could be worked on. And given that they are also one of the biggest giants that like what you have mentioned earlier, ma'am, they are also gearing towards economic development and of course uh, internationalization of their currency, ma'am. So for me, ma'am, that would be a possibility in the future, ma'am, provided that they would work on some things, ma'am.
All right, thank you. So actually, some of the successes of China, no, you think about Xiaomi, and Alipay. That's because I'm not saying you're wrong, no, but I'm also trying to analyze things. That's because China has already started to embrace some amount of free market aspects in their economy. Like they're trying to veer because look at Russia. Russia was very like communist and then they realized oh my it's not gonna work. So it really broke down. And I think China is also slowly realizing that, but it's just that they're still holding on so tight to the ideals of communism. So, but yeah, who knows, no? Yeah, who knows? Who knows? Yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But so far, the US has really proved that the free market economy, not totally free though, but the free market economy is really a very good model that really works. And if we compare na to, no, in our country, like it's so hard for small businesses to flourish. But in the US, of course, with the exception lang karon no because it's pandemic. In the US, it's so easy to start a business. You're not kaayo very discriminated from starting a business even though you're a young person ba. No, di ba, no? So, hoping na our country will reach that point also nga like people as young as you know you can already sign contracts. You're 18 and up naman. So, people as young as you are ba could like really start businesses and make them work and make them last for long periods of time. So hopefully we can reach that stage also sa atong country. Kay right now like so many kuan pa kaayo, so many hindrances pa ba before a person could like really start business nga not so much constraints and hindrances gani. And many businesses will really make the economy flourish, manggod niya. If your business grows, more employees, and then the more you need capital, the more you can avail of funds from the financial market. So that will really make our country grow. So hopefully, if not all of you, maybe some of you or a lot of you can really like stop. I know that most of you want to become accountants, but I hope you won't stop there. I hope you won't also have just the employee mindset. No, like me personally, I got stuck with the employee mindset for quite a number of years, and then I realized I shouldn't limit myself to that. So that's why also our country is encouraging more the entrepreneurial spirit. And sadly lang, daghan kay tag invention unta. Pero not much government support for it. Sayang. Sayang, no? Like, our fellow men could have gotten, earned a lot of money from those inventions. Like, we have brilliant minds. Like, seriously, pobre lang yun ta. Or, wala lang yun kaayoy bridges. So that we can, like, make those inventions available to the market. Sayang. So, murag uban pa nga nationalities ang naka-benefit from it. So, yeah, even our labor force, no, our labor force is very talented, very skilled. Agwantador pa jud, no, as compared to foreigners. Agwantador pa jud kita. That's why daghan kita OFWs, but now because of the pandemic, medyo there's a reduction in the number of OFWs. But in this digital world, some of you probably have online jobs. No, in this digital world, I think that's where the Philippine labor force can enter into and make the world see that we really are good workers. And we are flexible, and sometimes di pagani kaayo choosy sa rate, no, murag siguro makademand na lang kag taas nga rate later on when you have proven your skill set. But yeah, so and that's what you should be looking forward to also, a virtual workspace. Maybe you will still be working in a physical plant, physical office, once you after you graduate and once you start your career. But I believe the future of work, as what the World Economic Forum said, will always involve that virtual thing na. So we should prepare ourselves for that. There could be pros and cons to that, but that's reality, no? So think about I don't know, maybe you know about this. Yeah, you've read about Netflix. Netflix was a nobody before. Blockbuster was like the big wig, no, in that industry, sa movie, producing movies, or like so what you call this, CDs, DVDs, or VHS tapes, and then they snubbed Netflix, not knowing that Netflix was holding something like it was a shining diamond waiting to come out. So, and then now, look at what's happening. Look at Spotify. Who would have thought? Sa una, cassette tape, CD. Oh, di ba? Unya, now it's all streaming. Will you still buy a CD these days? I don't think so. You would stream though, no? So that's why the strategies of artists have also changed over time. Nga murag, no more of the producing CDs. Adto na lang ka Spotify, or better yet, if you don't even have that chance yet, adto kas Facebook, di ba? Magkanta-kanta kag kalit dito, o di. Who knows? You could be a superstar already. So, record companies are probably losing so much money because of that, because of social media, because of the internet. Even kaning mga artista baya sa ABS-CBN, no, murag when things went bad for ABS, all of a sudden tanang artista na YouTube channel, o di ba? So they see the power of social media. You can freely broadcast yourself. No need for you to be an ABS-CBN star, so para masikat ka sa internet. So anyway, that's how things are changing. So I think that's going to be the direction of business and even education, no? I think that's going to be the direction na gyud. So if schools won't also innovate, I think they will be left behind. So maybe gone were the days, no? Basin dili na ing ana ka big deal nga asset ang PPE, no? Basig ang mabig deal na nga asset will be the soft assets, the data, the internet platform that you have, the software that you have, the programs that you have. It's leaning more towards that already. And now, like cloud storage, sikat na kay si cloud storage. Sa una, flash drive, wa na si flash drive karon, no, because it's already cloud storage. So that's how things are changing nowadays. So I think we should be prepared for that. Although maybe some fundamental or basic things will never really change, but also that we should be flexible enough to adapt to change that's coming our way. Okay, so thank you so much everyone for the time that you have spared. I know that you had to reserve some data, no? If you're using data, medyo twice as much as you would for this week, but I thought that it was going to be a good thing. Also, I wanted to really engage more of the class, no? You would speak more, also that you would be trained also to listen while others are presenting or speaking. So there's a question here. Do you think ma-outdated ang curriculum sa accountancy? The one that we have now, I think there will be changes. I think even the job of accountants partly will be replaced already by machines or AI. One of the reasons why you should equip yourself, not only bitaw nga kabalo ko mo solve ani nga problem, because who knows, no, the computer could be doing all that solving already. So but the analysis and the decision making can, I don't think matukngan na ni AI sa usa ka human being, because there's always something about the human mind that AI cannot replicate, and that's the ability to make quick decisions or how you make strategies. I don't think AI can pass that. There's always something unique about our minds, no, our God-given minds. But I think the accountancy curriculum should change because the landscape for accountancy careers is already changing actually. So, kana, no? Nya, daghan na kay accounting programs. Muna na competitor nimo kung manual bookkeeping imong ma-offer, ang imong competitor kay accounting program, accounting software. O niya, kung ikaw dugay kay ka maka-generate og report from your manual bookkeeping, maabtan pag 1 month, ay basig na si company adto na lang siya sa kuan, sa software nga real time mo generate nag-report, di ba? So, and they need that for daily decisions. Nya, marketplaces are becoming more competitive karon kay your competition is not just your next door neighbor, it's someone from halfway or across the world, no? Muna na imong mga competitor karon in this digital world. So, yeah, and yeah, we should keep up. We should really keep up. And I think most of you are doing a good job with that, because with this setup of learning that we have, no, so that's already a form of flexibility and adjustment for you, and hopefully you will be prepared to enter the world of work in the future, whether as an employee, whether as an entrepreneur, and make an impact, and also show, no, that um a technologian is no different from all those products of the bigger universities. And probably you can even do more. Okay. So, yeah, that's it. I won't talk more na. Kay usahay malabian.